Hello everybody, it's Bea here, and I am going to show you my GCSE textiles work, which got full marks, so it was an A-star. And I hope that by showing you my work, you will at least know what you should do to get an A-star, or you can compare your work, or you can get some ideas on how to make your work better. So yeah, but don't forget, to achieve this, you cannot play around. You have to be very focused and you have to put a lot of time in. I spent days and days trying to finish my work, and it was really worth it because in the end I got full marks. So let's get to it. So this is the first set of work, so the first part of my coursework. The title was Under the Microscope, and we had to present our work in boards. But when it came to the final exam, I actually ended up presenting my work in a sketchbook. This is actually going to be a 3-part video, as I don't want to drag this for too long. So this is the first page. The title, as I said, was Under the Microscope. First thing we did was do a little research on these 3 artists that our teacher gave us, and talk about what we liked about their work and what we didn't like, and how did these images inspire us. And from the mini research that we did, I then made this. I got paint and I made a few circles, and then I went in with a pen. What is this? Various different types of pens, as long as they were black. And I made patterns. After that, I selected a section, and then the technician blew it up to an A3 so I could make a screen print. As you can see, these lines going out here, the black bits, are the red bits on this one. And after that, I thought, why not also sew into it, because it actually looked really boring if you just had the red over it. So I went over it with a sewing machine and I just added a few details on there. It was pretty simple, as this was back in year 9, so I hadn't learned much yet. I was just trying to experiment. Then we had to do some research on Busby, and this is, you can read this if you want. And I did this for it. I took one of her images and I drew it in pencil, so graphite, and then I made it into a hand embroidery, which took ages to do. I think it took about 10 hours because I went on holidays to Egypt, and it was 5 hours to go and 5 hours to come back, and it took me the whole time I was in that flight to finish this thing. So yeah, I used French knots and other varieties of stitches. Then I used this image that she had, and I drew it. And after drawing it, I made it into a print. This is a lino print, which is where you cut out the the areas you don't want. Yeah, I cut out everything to keep the yellow. Then I layered over it with the blue, and afterwards I cut out more to only keep the red. So I have a variety of them, as we were supposed to experiment, and I tried different tones of red, a bit darker reds or lighter reds, and as you can see, they didn't always go right on top of each other, but it still gave it a nice effect. And I also tried it with a different color. And this was me just testing how would the print look like before I actually printed. So yeah, that was the Busby research. On to the next board. this was research on Beatrice Lea, so I gathered some information about her, and I think I also read about why I was inspired by her work and what I did. Now, her work consists mostly of circles and patterns, so I took that inspiration. She's also inspired by cells, so I also had to do this mood board on cells. Just a variety of colors, and I just took the idea and I made it. So, inspired by her work, which basically consists of circles, I made two sections. One section is the color section and the other one is the black and white, as I wanted to have some contrast. She does use, because she also uses colors contrasting with black and white, so trying to take her idea and taking it forward. I made these sections and then I printed them out, scanned them, printed them out, and made it into half of a circle and another half. Now you can see, actually it's not, when you look at it, it's not that intricate. I don't know how I got on it. I don't know how it was that good. But anyways, it's the intention, because the examiner doesn't care as much about they do care about the quality, but it's also about what was your inspiration and how did you get to this point. Then I decided to make a 3D what's the name of this? I forgot. I'm trying to... Actually, I forgot what the name is. It's like a collage, but with fabric. I forgot what the name is. And I'm actually not really proud of this, but this was back in year 9, so I wasn't that developed on what I could do with fabric. And I think I dyed. Did I dye any of this? No, we still hadn't dyed any fabric. So yeah, that's what I did. Just a little bit of embroidery. This is all machine embroidered, so I never actually sewed it on by hand. Yep. On this board I looked at another artist. Actually, I think artist? I'm not sure. She does a lot of embroidery, so yeah. And I looked at fabric manipulation and the various techniques that you can use in manipulating fabric. I then made this, which also took ages to do. I don't remember actually how long it took me to do, but all I did was try to do various things. So I think, is this smocking? Yeah, this is smocking, and I used, actually I don't remember the names to be honest, ruffles and pleats and just a various different techniques. Then I looked at this artist, and as I was inspired by cells once again and how they're composed and how they work together, and I just decided to make this. And I think my idea was, I was thinking about synapses and like your cells in the brain and how they're all interconnected. So yeah, this is not that, it took me a while to do, but now that I look at it, it could be better. But maybe it's just me doing some self-judgment. I tend to do that a lot. This is my final piece. So when making a final piece, I always try to mix everything that I've learned from my research, and I try to put it all in one final piece to demonstrate all the skills that I've learned. And this is what I think brings you your A star or your A, because when you use everything that you learn, the examiner can see that you have absorbed all this information and you've translated it into a final piece. First I made an initial drawing and I annotated it with everything that I wanted to do in each part, as when you look at the drawing and you look at the final piece, it looks completely different. but this is just an initial idea. You can read this if you want, and this is my explanation of the final piece. And remember that every time you have a final piece, everything that you do, you have to explain why you did it. That's also another part to getting your marks. You need to present it in a nice and neat way, and you need to show the examiner that you know what you're doing, basically. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I don't know if I went too quick or too slow, but yeah, this was the final piece. But remember, this is in year 9, so still I didn't know that much. This is all the skills that I had learned, and I just tried to put them all in one final piece. As you can see, there's some hand embroidery, there's machine embroidery with hand embroidery, there's the screen printing, there's fabric dyeing, there is clay, what else is there? Different types of fabric manipulation, and yeah, it's still in the theme of cells. Never forget the theme that you had. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you want to watch the next ones, which are actually better than this, because this is the first ever time I actually did proper art, well, textiles work, so hopefully the other ones are even more informative than this one. Give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe, and